Hello my friends. This is my 14-foot bass boat I'm restoring and originally there was no non-skid on this boat, which if you're standing on it and walking around, that would be real dangerous, at least as far as falling into the water or losing that big fish you're hoping to catch. So this non-skid has a really tough texture and it is part of the finish. It's not just an applique like the peel and stick type. This one is very durable. It's one of the best that I have ever seen. Let me show you how you can apply this, and it's a very cheap way to go to get probably one of the best non-skid surfaces that you could possibly have on your boat. I taped off an area here. I'm going to put non-skid on this, and I'm going to do this in sections all the way around the edge of the boat. And what I'm doing is now applying a heavy coat of paint in this area. You could use a different color paint. I considered doing that, but because of the Florida sun, I want to keep everything light, even though I did a dark carpeting, but that carpet hopefully will get a lot of fish stuff on it, because this boat is going back into a catching boat, not just a fishing boat. Okay, this paint, you could use any type of a paint, but this is a Rust-Oleum, it's oil base. Tape not sticking in that one spot. I'm using the same paint, it doesn't matter if it slops, but the paint will, or the masking tape will control the area of the non-skid. Okay, once a heavy coat of paint is on, now I'm taking grits and I'm going to put this on real heavy and let it dry. The grits will absorb paint since it's an organic material, and it will then become part of the paint. It makes an extremely durable non-skid that will last for years, especially on a boat. I'm overdoing the grits, and when it dries I will brush off what is loose. I think that's enough. And then you give it a final coat of paint. I'm doing smaller areas at a time because I want to make sure that the paint is very wet when I sprinkle the grit on. So it's better to do it in small sections, and I'm breaking this up with the width of the tape between the sections just to give it a little bit more character. Nice heavy coat. I want to have a good non-skid paint or non-skid surface because I do not like to swim. Make sure it's very thick or good coat where you might be stepping more often. So that's a pretty nice heavy coat there. This technique using grits is borrowed from my Alabama friends, so it's the best non-skid system that I know. They do it on their boats down there. It's the cheapest, or one of the cheapest methods that I know, and it's one of the more durable methods. Grits that I'm using is the old-fashioned type. That's just the ones that are busted up. They're not pre-cooked. So this is the only type that I have used. I haven't tried any of the other. I know this one works very well. It's been a couple hours and I am lightly brushing this off. Just using the tip of the brush. Paint's not completely dried, but it's set up enough that it's got most of the grit on. Most of the grit that it wants to keep. I'm putting a final coat on now. I'm putting it on fairly heavy, but I'm making sure that I spread it out. You want to make sure that all the little cracks or gaps are filled. If not, you'll have the grit exposed. and that could absorb water. So this will encapsulate the grit and become part of the finish. It's best to peel the paint off before it's completely dried. So this has been about maybe an hour, and it's in the sun. So it's set up pretty quick. The rubber gloves aren't allowing me to use my fingernails. Okay, that you couldn't peel off like that if it was dry. You'd probably be ripping the tape. The non-skid. What happens when you give it a coat, the second coat, the grit also absorbs the paint and it will also expand. And when you first coat it, it looks kind of like sandpaper. Now with this second coat and it expanded, well, it's still wet, it's still expanding. It will give you a really rough finish. Really a good non-skid. Hope you enjoyed this method and I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.